Okay, so the paper I received was this discussion page on a tsunami that occurred in Indonesia, and I based my lesson off of the simple future tense because the ending question is, what can you do to help? So my level students are beginning level students. The subject that will be taught is simple future tense, including the module modal. Target students are students from BTC in the beginning ESL class, 15 students in an adult ESL class. Most students are learning English as their second language. The grammar point that I focused on was the simple future tense, and this is a question that can be answered with the future simple tense, which is what can you do to help? Here I provided a script of grammar explanation. So on page 140 in our textbook, I copied like their format for singular and plural, but I changed the verb to pray because an example for my students would be, what can you do to help? Well, a student could say, I am going to pray, which is shown here, and then I would go into the different forms. So you are going to pray, he, she is going to pray, we are going to pray, you are going to pray, and they are going to pray. The meaning is that an event in the future, or the meaning is that it's an event in the future, especially one that has already been planned. The use, what can you do to help? And then the student could say, I am going to pray, we are going to send money.
So like for the use, what can you explain more in depth of like how, like these are like examples, like how would you explain it to like the students for the use of it?
The use, meaning, I'm not sure what you mean.
So like these are just examples, like what can you do to help? I'm going to pray, we're going to have money, but like that's examples. How would you explain it like without using examples? Like,
okay, so I would explain it that this is in the future, that it has not occurred yet. So from this moment of time, it will be something we do later,
okay,
instead of now. So right now we are not praying, but later, either tonight we will pray, or tomorrow we will pray. We will send money now, later, or in the future. Sorry. And then here I used a diagram to also explain how. So there's a timeline with the past, now, and future. And so this is our time currently. So the future tense is used anywhere from here. So I would just use that as an example to illustrate it for them. So for my, what is this, the role? Yeah, for the dialogue, I said the setting is in the BTC ESL classroom, so the students feel comfortable. The roles are 3 people, the teacher, Anna, and Marco. The purpose is to brainstorm what the students can do to help Indonesia. The intended register is having the students of the BTC ESL classroom understand how to use the simple future tense. So I would begin with reading the information about Indonesia, which was the form, or the sheet, and then I would show the students where Indonesia is located. For some students, this name might not be familiar, so I would give them the location, and then provide the ending questions. What can you do to help? And then I would provide a personal response and write it on the board so they can see the question and then the response. So I can send clothing would be an example, and then I would write I can ... so they know how to begin their response. What are other possible answers? So then I would introduce the dialogue and say Anna and Marco have brainstormed what they can do. And then I would have the students read with me first. And then I would have them practice the dialogue together so they get comfortable with their partner, because most students sit together, like the students that sit together feel most comfortable with each other. So the dialogue goes like this. So the teacher says, now with a partner, brainstorm what you can do to help the people in Indonesia. Anna says, Marco, what can you do to help? Marco says, we can send food. Anna said, that is a good idea. We are having a fundraiser. Marco says, what is that? Anna says, everyone in the classroom donates food. Marco says, I'm going to bring a lot of food. Teacher says, what can you do to help? And Anna responds, we are going to send donated food to Indonesia. And then the next activity would be to please underline where you can see the future tense. And then this would be provided on like the projector. Mm-hmm. So then I could go with them after they've attempted to underline the future tense. I would show them where the future tense is, or before showing them, ask for any responses, like any guesses. And then an example, we are going to send donated food to Indonesia. And then I'd ask if they have any questions, provide a new question that includes the simple future tense, which is, what are you going to do after class? As a class, we can brainstorm and write the responses on the board. This chart thing was kind of weird. Did yours do that?
Yeah.
And then like it would go into the next thing. Okay, so then, so we would write our sentences on the board. Oh, okay, yeah, so this is just this activity. We would write this answers on the board. Then I would provide 6 sentences that 3 are correct and 3 are incorrect. And I would show them why they are incorrect. So first, I would start off with, I am going to eat lunch, and I am go to eat lunch. Here, this is a common mistake because students forget to change the infinitive to an ing form. So here, I am going to eat lunch. The next sentences are, I'm going to play with my daughter, and I going to play with my daughter. Another common mistake is forgetting the verb to be and conjugating the verb. So here, am is missing for the subject I. So I would explain that to them. My next sentences are, my family is going to the park, and family is going to the park. It is important to include a possession when the subject is an object. Here, you should include whose family it is. So the subject, my family, is going to the park, instead of just family is going to the park.
Okay. That's kind of cool. Would they be able to know this stuff? Because in the previous, like mine is not that great at yours, but like you're saying, how can we help? And you're like, oh, we can do this, like using that form, and here you're using going. Is this like another activity we're just building up on?
The reason why I did that was so they saw that you can respond with the modal can, because the original question was, what can we do? So I wanted it to be as simple as possible for them to respond. So then that's why I included that modal in that module. And then here I said I am going because it's more easy. I feel like it's easier for a student, and this is based off of the students that I work with. So I like wrote this lesson plan as like with their level in mind. Okay. So like I know that they can do this because we've done an activity similar to this. So yeah, and then that is my lesson plan.
Cool.
Yeah.